Welcome to Wisdom Matrix 1111. Today we're diving into one of Joseph Murphy's most powerful lectures, Your Friend, the Subconscious Mind. In this inspiring lecture, Joseph Murphy shares a collection of remarkable true stories from people he met throughout his years of teaching and counseling, revealing how the subconscious mind can transform lives in surprising and meaningful ways. As you listen, you'll discover how your beliefs, expectations, and mental images create your reality. Whether you're already familiar with Joseph Murphy's teachings or hearing them for the first time, this lecture offers timeless wisdom and profound insights into the incredible power of your subconscious mind. So let's dive in. Your Friend, The Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy, presented by Wisdom Matrix 1111. There is one mind common to all individual men. There are merely two spheres of activity within one mind. There are not two minds. Your conscious mind is the reasoning mind. It is that phase of mind which chooses, dissects, analyses, investigates, scrutinizes, comes to conclusions, and makes decisions. For example, you choose your books, your home, and your partner in life. You make all your decisions with your conscious mind. On the other hand, without any conscious choice on your part, your heart keeps functioning automatically, and the processes of digestion, circulation, and breathing are carried on by your subconscious mind through processes independent of your conscious control. Your subconscious mind accepts what is impressed upon it or what you consciously believe. It does not reason out things like your conscious mind. Your subconscious mind is a one-track mind. It does not argue with you controversially. Your subconscious mind is like the soil which accepts any kind of seed, good or bad. Your thoughts and ideas are active and may be likened unto seeds. Negative, destructive thoughts continue to work negatively in your subconscious mind, and in due time will come forth into your outer experience, which corresponds with your negative thoughts. Remember, your subconscious mind does not engage in proving whether your thoughts are good or bad, or true or false. It responds according to the nature of your thoughts or suggestions. For example, if you consciously assume something to be true, even though it may be false, your subconscious mind will accept it as true and proceed to bring about results which must necessarily follow because you consciously assumed it to be true. Your subconscious mind cannot argue controversially. Hence, if you give it wrong suggestions, it will accept them as true and will proceed to bring them to pass as conditions, experiences, and events. Your subconscious mind is often referred to as your subjective mind. Your subjective mind takes cognizance of its environment by means independent of the five senses. Your subjective mind perceives by intuition. It is the seat of your emotion and the storehouse of your memory. Your subjective mind performs its highest functions when your objective senses, or your conscious mind, is in abeyance. In a word, your subjective mind is that intelligence which makes itself manifest when the objective mind is suspended or in a sleepy, drowsy state. Your subjective mind sees without the use of the natural organs of vision. It has the capacity of clairvoyance and clairaudience. Your subjective mind can leave your body, travel to distant lands, and bring back information, very often of the most exact and truthful character. Through your subjective mind, you can read the thoughts of others and read the contents of sealed envelopes and closed safes. Your subjective mind has the ability to apprehend the thoughts of others without the use of the ordinary objective means of communication. It's of the greatest importance that we understand the interaction of our objective and subjective mind in order to learn the true art of prayer. When your conscious and subconscious mind function harmoniously and peacefully, when they work together in unison, the result is harmony, health, peace, joy, and happiness. All the evil, pain, suffering, misery, war, crime, and sickness in the world are due to the inharmonious relationship of your conscious and subconscious mind. Remember, your subconscious mind is impersonal and non-selective. The Bible says the husband is head of the wife, the husband is your conscious mind, and the wife is the subconscious mind. This is not true from a literal standpoint. It's true psychologically only. Your subconscious is controlled by your conscious mind. It's amenable to suggestion and controlled by it. So, the wife, your subconscious, is subject to the husband, the conscious mind. Again, this is true psychologically only. Whatever your conscious mind feels to be true, your subconscious accepts. Your capacity to imagine and feel and your freedom to choose the idea you will entertain gives you power over all creation. Do not dwell on the imperfections, frailties, derelictions, or shortcomings of others. Why? Because whatever you think and feel about another, you create in your own mind, body, and circumstances. Ask yourself, would I like to live with what I'm thinking and wishing for the other? If you would, well, you're on the right track. Remember, your thought is creative, and what you think about the other, you are creating in all phases of your life. What you do not wish done unto you, do not feel it's done unto you or another. Now, chance or accident is not responsible for the things that happen to you, nor is predestined fate the author of your fortune or misfortune. Your subconscious mind is not concerned with the truth or falsity of what you consciously feel or believe to be true. Select only that which is true, lovely, noble, and godlike, and your subconscious mind will reproduce accordingly. The Bible says, "Believe you have it now, and you shall receive it. All things whatsoever you shall ask in prayer, believe that you have it now, and you shall receive it." That's a psychological law. Assume the mood that would be yours if you had manifested your desire. As you do this, wonders will begin to happen in your life. Edison knew intuitively that the voice caused undulatory currents in the atmosphere. As he reasoned out that such currents could reproduce the voice, the idea came to him that inasmuch as your voice produces waves, these waves reproduce that voice. This is the same law as believing you have it now and you shall receive it. So Edison developed the phonograph. The idea came from his subconscious mind. Your subconscious is your friend. It seeks to heal and restore you. If someone is presenting you with a phony deal, there's something within you that warns you. That's your subconscious mind prompting you. The intimations, urges, promptings, and murmurings of the subconscious mind are always lifewood. It seeks to heal you if you cut or burn yourself. It seeks to reduce the edema and give you new skin and tissue. If your child is very sick and you're completely exhausted and you think about waking them up to give them their medicine at 2 o'clock in the morning, your subconscious mind will wake you up, no matter how tired you are, at exactly 2 o'clock to minister to your child. The tendency of the subconscious mind is always lifewood. Edison knew electricity was produced by friction, and that in turn, friction produced electricity. Edison understood that the transformation of forces was reversible. Heat produces mechanical motion, and mechanical motion produces heat. Cause and effect, action and reaction, these forces are cosmic and universal. Pray, believing that you already possess what you pray for, and it will come to pass. This is the law of inverse transformation. For example, if the sale of your home brings a certain amount of joy, satisfaction, and elation into your mental atmosphere, then the feeling that would be yours if you sold your house would also produce that manifestation. In other words, that feeling or mental state captured in your imagination must produce the sale of the home. If the sale of the home brings a certain joy and satisfaction to you, you can reverse it and capture the feeling that would be yours if you sold it. You can do this by imagining the check in your hand, giving thanks for it and depositing it in the bank, doing the things you would do if your home was sold. This is all done in your mind or your imagination, and then that attitude will produce the results. Awaken within yourself the feeling that would be yours if you now realized your desire, and that feeling will produce it. There was a young boy who wanted to go to a certain college, but he was rejected. I said to him, "You understand this law of inverse transformation. How would you feel if they accepted you now? How would you feel if you went to see this man who rejected you, and he said, 'Well, we've changed our mind. We've looked over your qualifications, and you are accepted.' He said, 'I'd feel happy, I'd call my dad, I'd feel wonderful.' Well, I said, as you go to sleep at night, feel that I'm congratulating you on your acceptance and your marvelous success in the college. Imagine you're also talking to your dad and telling him you've been accepted. Go in there in your own mind and hear this man that rejected you saying, 'You're accepted, it's wonderful.' You can capture that feeling in your imagination." The young man followed my instructions and he was accepted. The feeling of the answered prayer, if assumed and sustained, must objectify the answer to your prayer. That is the meaning of Romans 4:17, "Call those things which are not as though they were." If a physical fact can produce the psychological state, then that psychological state can produce the physical fact. That's the meaning of "All things whatsoever ye shall ask in prayer, believe that you have it now, and you shall receive it." How can you believe it now? Well, the reality of your desire is an idea, isn't it? It is a mental picture in your mind. So, you accept the mental picture, dramatize it, feel the reality of it, rejoice in it and believe in the law of growth, knowing that the seed you put in the ground will grow if you nourish, sustain, water and fertilize it. Emerson said, "The philosophy of 6,000 years has not searched the chambers and the magazines of your soul. In its experiments, there has always remained in the last analysis a residuum it could not resolve. Man is a stream whose source is hidden. The learned and the studious of thought have no monopoly of wisdom. Your mind, your consciousness, is the sum total of all your subjective and objective impressions and awarenesses. Your mind is a medium of ideas. It is a collection of impressions. Some are good, and perhaps some are not so good. Your mind is a medium for all sorts of impressions, and your mind should be open only to ideas which bless, inspire, elevate, and dignify your soul. Ideas are our master, and they generate emotions. The reason there is so much misery in the world is because the ideas many people hold are completely false. These false ideas and emotions that get snarled up in the subconscious must have an outlet. If the ideas and emotions are of a negative nature, it must be a negative outlet. Watt, a Scotsman and a mechanic, saw the steam coming out of the kettle when his mother was making a cup of tea. He saw the steam forcing the lid up on the kettle, and he began to wonder what would happen if he harnessed the tremendous power of the steam. All he had was an idea. He began to think about it from all angles. The idea came from his subconscious mind to force steam into a cylinder which contained a piston. The expansion forced the piston back and rolled the wheels. That was the beginning of the steam engine, which revolutionized industry all over the world. When man says that something can't be done, and that it is impossible because it has never been done before, remember that the science of aerodynamics states that the bumblebee cannot fly because its wingspan is too short and its weight is too great. But the bumblebee doesn't know what's in the textbook, so it goes ahead and flies. So when someone says something can't be done, the man who knows the power of his imagination, the great friend within him, says it can be done. The subconscious, which is his friend, responds to him and brings his ideas or desires to pass in a wonderful, wonderful way. Someone mailed me a clipping of an unknown Mexican man who was praying for wealth because he had many things he wanted to do, but he was poor. The article stated that in a dream he went to the Virgin of Guadalupe to pray, and the Virgin told him to purchase ticket 37281 in the Mexican lottery. He called his nephew in Texas and asked him to track the ticket number down. So the nephew tracked down ticket 37281, and he invested his uncle's money to buy the block of tickets. The uncle won $3 million, a grand prize in Mexico. According to the article, the Internal Revenue Service visited the man's nephew and demanded they receive $1,600,000 because he bought the ticket in America. The nephew took the demand to the tax court. The article states that the judge announced that this man received an answer to his prayer from the Virgin of Guadalupe, and the ticket was purchased in his name. Therefore, the IRS doesn't get anything. So that's the friend, the subconscious mind, that gave this Mexican $3 million because he believed that the Virgin of Guadalupe would answer him. This is the same friend within you. Its ways are past finding out. The Virgin, of course, is the I Am within you, your own subconscious mind, which is capable of infinite conceptions within itself. It is the presence of God within you. It is called the Virgin Mary in the Bible. Mary is a Latin word meaning the sea. So it has nothing at all to do with a woman or a virgin or anything of that nature. Within you there is a power that is capable of an infinite number of conceptions of itself without the aid of any person. It created the whole universe. For example, the tree outside your door is an immaculate conception, as is the whole universe which came out of the mind of God. He had no one to aid him, for God is all there is, and therefore only God can make a tree. Even though the Mexican man had blind faith and thought he was praying to a virgin, his subconscious responded, because your subconscious responds whether the object of your faith be true or false, your subconscious mind will answer blind belief. In your subconscious mind, there is an intelligence and wisdom which comes to your aid in emergencies when a direct demand is made upon it. There are numberless instances where scientists, for example, have received answers to their prayers when they couldn't get an answer any other way. Nikola Tesla, a brilliant electrical scientist who brought forth the most amazing innovations, said that when an idea for a new invention came into his mind, he would build it up in his imagination, knowing that his subconscious mind would reconstruct and reveal to his conscious mind all the parts needed for its manufacture in concrete form. Through quietly contemplating every improvement, he spent no time correcting defects and was able to give the technicians the perfect product of his mind. He said, "Invariably, my device works as I imagined it should. In 20 years, there has not been a single exception." His subconscious mind gave him the answer to all his inventions. A famous chemist, Friedrich von Stratonic, used his subconscious mind to solve his problem as follows. He had been working laboriously for a long time, trying to rearrange the 6 carbon and 6 hydrogen atoms of the benzene formula. He was constantly perplexed and unable to solve the matter. Tired and exhausted, he turned the request completely over to his subconscious mind. Shortly afterwards, he was about to board a London bus when his subconscious mind presented his conscious mind with the sudden flash of a snake biting its own tail and turning around like a pinwheel. This answer from his subconscious mind gave him the long-sought-after answer of the circular rearrangement of the atoms that is known as the benzene ring. Today, every high school student knows how the benzene ring came to pass. It came through a flash of illumination from the depths of von Stratonic's subconscious mind, countless inventions manifested in exactly the same way. The Bible says, "I, the Lord," meaning your subconscious mind, "will make myself known to man in a vision and will speak to man in a dream." When I use the term subconscious mind, I'm talking about the great universal mind. I'm not looking at it from a Freudian narrow standpoint, where it deals with a mind of sex repressions, frustrations, and inhibitions. Not at all. I am talking of the Father within who doeth the works. You can call it the supernormal mind, the superconscious mind, the subliminal mind. You can call it Allah, Brahma, reality, infinite intelligence, self-originating spirit or life principle. You can call it by any name you want to. It is actually nameless. It's the subjective depth of you, the subjective wisdom and intelligence that controls all your vital organs when you're sound asleep, and that sometimes answers your prayer in a dream or in a vision of the night. There are numerous references in the Bible to dreams, visions, revelations, and warnings given to men during sleep. Your subconscious mind is active 24 hours a day. It's your greatest friend. The Bible points out that Joseph was accurate in his analysis of Pharaoh's dreams. His mental acumen and sagacity in predicting the future through the interpretation of dreams brought him praise, honor, and recognition by the king. Dreams have captivated scientists, scholars, mystics, and philosophers down through the ages. Many answers to man's most acute problems have been given in dreams. Since biblical days, various interpreters and expositors in every country have been engaged in the analyses and interpretation of dreams. Freud, Jung, Adler, and many other distinguished psychologists and psychiatrists have studied the symbols portrayed in dreams. By interpreting meanings to the conscious mind of patients, they have released hidden phobias, fixations, and other mental complexes. Your dreams, of course, are projections of the contents of your subconscious mind. In many instances, dreams answer your problems and warn you regarding investments, journeys, and marriage, as well as the pitfalls of daily living. Your dreams are a dramatization of your subconscious mind. They are not fatalistic. You mold, fashion, and shape your own destiny by your thought and feeling. Anything in your subconscious mind is subject to change, and when you know the laws of mind, you can predict your own future. You can fill your subconscious mind with the truths of God, and you will crowd out of your mind everything unlike God. For the law is subject to the higher, that is, your subconscious is subject to the conscious mind. That is, the husband takes charge of the wife, but in biblical language only. Unfortunately, theologians have taken that literally for thousands of years and have held women in bondage and subjection due to a misinterpretation of Scripture. Once, I had a telephone call from a woman in New York City stating that her husband had told her prior to his transition that he planned to take a large sum of money from his private safe and invest it in a foreign country for greater returns. A few days later he passed on, and when the safe deposit in the bank was opened, there was no cash. However, there was a record at the bank that 2 days previously he had visited the vault. There was no trace or record of any investment, and a thorough inspection of his desk revealed no clues. I suggested to this widow that she turn her request over to her subconscious mind, which knows only the answer, and that it would reveal the answer to her in its own way. She prayed as follows: "My subconscious mind knows where my husband secreted that money, and I accept the answer and believe implicitly the solution will come clearly into my conscious mind." She quietly dwelled on the meaning of these words, knowing they would be impressed in her subconscious mind, thereby activating its response. She had a very vivid dream in which she saw a small black box hidden behind the picture of Lincoln on the wall in her husband's work den. She was shown in the den how to press a secret button which could not be seen with the naked eye. When she awakened, she rushed to the den and took down the picture of Lincoln. When she pressed the button, revealed to her in the dream, an opening appeared containing the black box, which in turn contained $50,000 in currency. She discovered the treasures of her subconscious mind. She discovered there's a friend within her which knows all and sees all and has the know-how of accomplishment because it is all eyes. You too can take a similar step in putting the wisdom of your subconscious to work to answer your prayers. A young woman in San Francisco experienced a recurring dream for 4 consecutive nights. In her dream, her fiancé, who was living in Los Angeles, appeared to her. Quite suddenly after he appeared, a very high mountain which seemed impossible to scale came between them. In the dream she was deeply surprised, frustrated and bewildered. When she awoke, she wrestled with the problem and could sense that something was very wrong and shady. I asked her what the mountain signified to her, as every dream, when interpreted properly, must coincide with the inner awareness and feeling of the dreamer. Moreover, a recurring dream is very important, as it is the intuitive voice of your subconscious saying to you, "Stop, look and listen." She said the mountain meant an insuperable obstacle to her. I suggested to her that she speak to her fiancé about the dream and gain the assurance that there was nothing hidden that was not revealed and nothing covered up that was not made known to her. Accordingly, she flew down to Los Angeles to see her fiancé, who met her at the airport. After a heart-to-heart talk, he finally told her that he was homosexual. He told her he wanted to marry her so that his customers, who were very religious, would not suspect anything. Her dream prevented her from experiencing what eventually would have been a great traumatic shock. You too can exercise the same or greater foresight by analyzing the current happenings in your dream. Of course, there are variegated dreams, we know that. Some dreams are due to sexual frustration or repression, and others are due to mental and emotional turmoil, bodily malfunctioning, fears and religious taboos, reproduction, and a recast of past events or the activities of the day. However, there are many dreams of a recurring nature as well as of a precognitive significance, wherein you see events before they happen. Many times you're given detailed instructions in the dream as to what action to take. There is a wonderful power within you, subconscious intelligence and wisdom that you can use. You may be religious, you may be agnostic, or you may be an atheist. However, you can experience this infinite intelligence and wisdom functioning for you because you need no creed. If you call upon it, it will answer you, just as well as the atheist or the agnostic gets an answer. It's impersonal and no respecter of persons. You can call it a superhuman intelligence if you want to, or as I said previously, a subliminal mind or subjective mind, or the I am. The point is that the presence of the infinite is within you. It resides in your own subliminal depths. It is also a law. It's there, and we should use it. It works as you sleep. The German proverb is, "Night brings counsel." You know your body doesn't rest, your heart and all your vital organs are working while you sleep. Your conscious mind is in abeyance, and you turn away from the vexations, the strife and the contentions of the day. 2/3 of your life is controlled by the 1/3 in sleep. What feelings do you go to sleep with every night? Go to sleep with the feeling that you're a tremendous success, that you're absolutely outstanding. If you have a problem, contemplate the solution. Say, "Infinite intelligence gives me the solution, and I accept the answer. It comes to me in divine order." So that subjective self of you corrects the errors of the day and anchors your thought to the supreme intelligence within you. In other words, as the ancient Hebrews said, you participate in the wisdom and the foreknowledge of the gods when you're sound asleep, because healing currents are released when you're asleep. The Bible says, He giveth his beloved in sleep. I lay me down in peace to sleep, for thou, Lord, maketh me dwell in safety. Before work conferences, when very important decisions needed to be made, Arthur Rohr, a great industrialist and business tycoon, and his associates would get quiet and still, close their eyes, relax, and let go. What do you suppose they thought about? They would think about the infinite intelligence within them that knows the answers, knows what's best for the organization, and knows the right decisions, for there is nothing it does not know. Therefore, they would contemplate the right decision, the harmonious solution, the creative idea in the quietness of their own minds. In that quietude and relaxed state, the wisdom of the subconscious rises to the conscious mind, because the conscious mind is in abeyance. This method always has marvelous results for Arthur and his associates. When they open their eyes, they know the decision to make, and it's always right, because when your motivation is right, your decision will be right. When your motivation is wrong, no matter what you do will be wrong. Therefore, when you're asked to make a decision, ask yourself, what is my motivation? Connect with infinite intelligence when there are decisions and propositions to consider, in the faith that you are guided, directed, and all answers are revealed to you. Robert Coleman, who used to be an usher here at the Wilshire Ebel Theatre, is now living in Albuquerque, Mexico, and is familiar with Indian medicine men down there. He told me an interesting story about a member of the tribe who was very ill, and the local medicine men couldn't do anything for her. So they brought in a special medicine man, and Robert said when he came to see her, he had a pot of boiling water. The test of a medicine man is that he can put his hands into this boiling water for about 10 minutes, and there'll be no inflammation or burn of any kind. That's a sure sign that he is disciplined, trained, and has served his apprenticeship. Robert said after that, the medicine man put some blankets on the woman and chanted some Indian songs. That is, his holy prayers and incantations based upon his tribal beliefs. Then, Robert said the medicine man laid down beside the woman, and as he fell asleep, he called on the Great Spirit. When he woke up, he said, "The friend has healed her." Of course, this meant the Great Spirit, which is what his tribe called God. What did he mean by, "The friend has healed her"? Well, he came, of course, believing, and in a passive, quiet state of mind, he began to chant, and the receptive, open-minded woman was healed. According to your faith is it done unto you, according to your belief is it done unto you. The woman was open and receptive to the medicine man, who was full of faith and confidence in the vitality, intelligence, and miraculous healing power within himself. His faith was communicated to her deeper state of mind, and she got well. That's what we call prayer therapy or spiritual treatment. It is simply dwelling upon the infinite spirit and power that's within you. I am the Lord that healeth thee. I am the Lord thy God. I will come and heal thee. I will restore health unto thee and heal thee of thy wounds. These phrases, of course, are biblical expressions. All healing is of the Most High. There is only one healing presence, and when you pray for a person just like this medicine man did, you don't dwell on symptoms or the bodily condition. You dwell upon the intelligence, wisdom, vitality, wholeness, beauty, and perfection of the infinite, animating and sustaining the other person. Then the presence of God is resurrected in the other person, and they are healed. This is the basis of all healing. Dr. Elsie McCoy of Beverly Hills, who I wrote about in my book Psychic Perception, showed clearly what constructive thinking according to principle will accomplish. She studied extensively in Europe and Asia, and in her early days was engaged to a prominent surgeon in Chicago. They were separated by over 1,000 miles, however, due to their different assignments. Ever since she was 18 years old, she has made it a habit to affirm during the day, "Only divine right action takes place in my life, and whatever I need to know is revealed to me instantly by the infinite intelligence within me." Her gradual reiteration of these truths caused them to reach the subconscious mind, which responded accordingly. One night, while she was sound asleep, she saw and heard clearly in a vivid dream her fiancé in Chicago talking to a nurse, and in addition, dating her for a weekend. She heard him say to the nurse, "You know, I'm engaged, but she is 1,000 miles away and knows nothing about us." Dr. McCoy phoned her fiancé the next day and told him about the silly and foolish dream she had had and laughed about it. He was furious and accused her of having employed detectives to spy on him. With that, she dissolved the engagement, and subsequent events showed the wisdom of her subconscious in protecting her from what would undoubtedly have been a tragic marriage. Her right thinking activated her subconscious mind, which revealed to her what she should know before she got married. That's a very interesting story. The subjective mind seeks to protect you if you'll only listen to it. Some people brush these things aside and say, "It's only a dream." There's such a thing as precognition or prescient, which is seeing events before they happen. This allows you to protect yourself. If you see something negative for yourself or another, prayer can change your mind. A girl, Louise Barrows, who is now Mrs. Wright since she got married, gave me permission to write her story in my book, Psychic Perception. Louise was informed by her foot surgeon that it was necessary to have an operation on her left foot to bring about a healing, and that this would necessitate having her leg in a cast as well as using crutches for 2 months or more. She prayed that the infinite intelligence of her subconscious mind would guide and direct her to come to the right decision. She turned this request over to her subconscious mind every night, and at the end of the 4th night, she saw a chiropractic doctor who was a friend of the family in her dream. He pointed to hexagram 35 in the I Ching, which said, "Progress." The next day, she went to visit him, and on examining her foot, he advised her that he could bring about perfect alignment and adjustment by manipulation and exercise, which she would have to practice. A perfect healing followed. That happened back in 1961, after I gave a series of lectures on the I Ching in Southern California for the first time. The subconscious mind usually speaks and reveals answers symbolically. Louise, having taken 2 classes on the I Ching with me, became absorbed and engrossed with its scientific and metaphysical approach to life, and undoubtedly, her subconscious knew she would follow the directions of the hexagram. The subconscious always speaks to you in a voice or a symbol that you will follow and understand. It will not speak to you in a voice of someone you dislike or disapprove of. The subconscious spoke literally to Louise when it revealed that she should visit the chiropractic doctor for the healing of her foot. There is only one being, and that power is within you. It is called the life principle, the living spirit almighty, and many other names. As Judge Troward, the author of an inimitable textbook, says, "Your quiet contemplation of your desires as an accomplished fact is the way to pray." The feeling of pleasure and restfulness in foreseeing a certain accomplishment of your desire is the way to get the answer to your prayer. The operation, Troward says, is that of the gardener. We don't put self-expansion or vitality into the seed, we sow it, don't we? We put the seed in the ground, then we water and fertilize it, knowing that it's going to expand and unfold in a wonderful way. Of course, it will expand in a wonderful way if you water it with faith, expectancy, and understanding. In this way, wonders will begin to happen in your life. A thought is the most powerful force in the universe, you know. Your word is a thought expressed. If you are in a position of authority, a thought or word can direct how missiles, nuclear energy, dynamite, or thermonuclear weapons are to be used. Your thoughts direct the operation of your life. Your subconscious mind can be likened to an iceberg. 90% of it is below the surface. It's your subconscious mind that does the work according to the orders given to it by your conscious mind. What you think with your conscious mind, you produce with your subconscious mind. There is a very interesting story about Dr. Arthur Thomas, a minister of the Church of Religious Science in Pasadena, California, formerly Reno, Nevada. He gave me permission to write his story in my book, Psychic Perception. Arthur had been a lieutenant in the British Navy at one time, and more recently had been in the wholesale business as well as in real estate in Los Angeles. About 10 years ago, however, he started attending my lectures on Sunday mornings. He said, "I realized suddenly my thought was the only creative power of which I was aware, and I was going to create what I really wanted." Consequently, he began to affirm to himself frequently, "I am a minister now. I am teaching the truths of life to people." Every night he would imagine he was expatiating on the great truths to a wonderful group of men and women in a church. He continued to think along these lines for a month or so, when he decided to take the ministerial course at the Institute of Religious Science here in Los Angeles. He was confident of the end result, as he had already imagined, and felt as true the reality of that which he imagined in his mind. He passed all tests and examinations in divine order, and was offered the church immediately after finishing his seminary course. He is now doing exactly what he decreed mentally. He knew that his subconscious mind would respond mathematically and accurately according to his thinking processes. Arthur's story is a perfect example of the meaning, "According to your faith, is it done unto you." During a trip to Mexico a few years ago, I met a minister who had a pronounced facial tic, which was very aggravating and humiliating to him. He had received alcoholic injections, which were supposed to deaden or paralyze the nerve, but after some months, the tic flared up again. The condition became very acute when he spoke before his congregation or other social gatherings. He had reached the point where he was actually contemplating resigning because of the comments of the people and his own sense of embarrassment. After a prolonged discussion, however, I remarked that I had a deep inner feeling that he had a pronounced sense of hurt, plus a guilt complex, which he was unwilling to face subjectively and objectively. This tic condition was affecting his right eye, which could possibly symbolize something he did not want to look at in his home or office. There was some reason why his subconscious was selecting his face and his right eye as a scapegoat. This situation needed his psychic perception to recognize how to deal with it. He admitted freely that he no longer believed in what he was teaching, which gave him a guilt complex. Moreover, he was afraid to resign because he felt he could not make a living outside the ministry. He deeply resented members of his board who criticized whenever he deviated from the orthodox standard of teaching. All this nervous pressure was converted by his subconscious mind into a tic. The affliction compensated him in a morbid way for his failure to be honest and forthright and admit to his congregation that he no longer believed according to the directives and dogma of the church. He freely admitted all this to me, and I suggested to him that on the following Sunday, when he returned from his vacation, he should speak freely from the platform and tell his congregation that he was resigning, since he no longer believed what he was preaching. He understood that to teach one thing and to believe another created a powerful negative conflict in his mind, resulting in mental and physical disorder. He spoke from the depths of his heart to his congregation and then resigned. In a letter to me, he said, "I felt a tremendous relief and a great sense of peace came over me. My constant affirmation was, 'Thou wilt show me the path of life.' And one of my former board members gave me a position as personnel director for his organization, where I am happy. He added, "What you said is true. Oftentimes, the explanation is the cure. If you have a problem, mental, physical, or emotional, ask yourself, what am I turning away from? What is it I don't want to face? Am I hiding my resentment and hostility to someone? Face the problem and solve it with psychic perception. Dissolve it in the light of God's love." In Honolulu, I had a most interesting conversation with an old friend whom I had known previously in India. I shall call him Harry. Harry has been practicing traveling clairvoyance or astral excursions for many years. His daughter was studying in Honolulu and had been very ill, actually at the point of death. A cable was sent to him in Calcutta, and the moment he received it, he adopted a yoga posture, closed his eyes, and got into a passive, quiet, receptive state of mind. He visualized his fourth-dimensional or astral body emerging through his head with all his faculties, and he decreed firmly, knowingly, and with deep conviction, "I want to appear instantly to my daughter and minister to her." He repeated this command about 6 times, then dropped off into a profound slumber. Immediately he found himself at his daughter's bedside. She was asleep but awakened immediately and exclaimed to him, "Dad, why didn't you tell me you were coming? Help me." He placed his hands upon her and chanted certain religious phrases and told her, "You will arise in a few hours and be well." She had an instantaneous healing. Her fever immediately subsided, and she shouted to the nurse, "I am healed, I am well. My father was here and he healed me." The nurse thought she was raving, but the resident physician confirmed the silent inner knowing of her soul and said she was indeed perfectly well. However, both laughed at her story of a visitation by her father from India. The nurse was puzzled and perplexed and said to the daughter, "How could your father or anybody else get in from downstairs through closed doors?" "I saw no one enter your room." The daughter explained to the nurse, "Oh, my father visited me in his astral body and laid his hands on me and prayed with me." The nurse said, "I don't believe in ghosts, apparitions, or voodoo." The girl realized that further explanations would be useless. Harry said that he was perfectly conscious all the time. Considering the distance between Calcutta and Honolulu and the time difference, he discovered that he had been absent from his physical body just 10 minutes in all. Harry is a medical doctor and has tremendous faith in spiritual healing and is very familiar with the many schools of healing. He realized his presence gave a tremendous transfusion of faith, confidence, and courage to his daughter, which impregnated her subconscious mind. And according to his belief and that of his daughter, it was done unto her. The Bible says, "If thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth." Mark 9:23. These are the wonders of the friend within you. That's the deeper mind. Your subconscious mind is never short of ideas. There are within it an infinite number of ideas ready to flow into your conscious mind and appear as cash in your pocket in countless ways. This process will continue to go on in your mind regardless of whether the stock market goes up or down, or whether the pound sterling or dollar drops in value. Your wealth is never dependent on bonds, stocks, or money in the bank. These things are really only symbols. They are necessary and useful, but only symbols. As you go to sleep at night, repeat over and over to yourself, "Wealth, success, wealth, success. The infinite cannot fail. The infinite is within you, and you were born to win. You were born to succeed." These 2 words activate the latent powers of your subconscious, and you are compelled to succeed. You're compelled to be wealthy. The point I wish to exercise is that if you convince your subconscious mind that wealth is forever circulating in your life, and there's always a surplus, you will always and inevitably have wealth, regardless of the form it takes. There are people who claim that they are always trying to make ends meet. They seem to have great trouble in meeting their obligations. Have you listened to their conversations? In many instances, their conversations constantly condemn those who have succeeded in life and have raised their heads above the crowd. Perhaps they are saying, "Oh, that fellow has a racket. He's a ruthless crook. This is why they lack." They're condemning the thing they desire and want. The reason they speak critically of their more prosperous associates is because they're envious and covetous of the other's prosperity. The quickest way to cause wealth to take wings and fly away is to be envious, jealous, or critical of others who have more wealth than you. You can rest assured that this thinking will impoverish you and bring more and more lack into your experience. There is one emotion which is the cause of the lack of wealth in the lives of many people. Most people learn this the hard way. It is envy. If you see a competitor depositing large sums of money in the bank and you have only a meager amount to deposit, does it make you envious? The way to overcome this emotion is to say to yourself, "Isn't it wonderful? I rejoice in that person's prosperity. I wish for them greater and greater wealth." You're selfish when you do that, because what you're wishing for them you're creating in your own mind, body, and experience. To entertain envious or jealous thoughts is devastating because it places you in a very negative, destructive position. Wealth flows from you instead of to you. If you're ever annoyed or irritated at the prosperity, great wealth, or success of another, claim immediately that you truly wish from them wealth and success in every possible way. This will neutralize the negative thoughts in your mind and cause an ever greater measure of wealth to flow to you by the law of your subconscious mind. If you are worried and critical of someone whom you claim is making money dishonestly, cease worrying about them. You know such a person is using the law of mind negatively. The law of mind will take care of them. Your Bible tells you to fret not about evildoers or the workers of iniquity in the 37th Psalm, which is a great eye-opener. Remember, the block or obstacle to wealth is in your own mind. You can now destroy that mental block. You can do this by getting on mental good terms with everybody, wishing for everyone what you wish for yourself. As you do this, wonders will begin to happen in your life. It is your right to be rich, you know. You're here to lead an abundant life. You're here to be happy, radiant, and free. You should therefore have all the wealth you need to live a full, happy, and prosperous life. Of course you should. You're here to grow, expand, and unfold spiritually, mentally, materially, and professionally. You have the inalienable right to fully develop and express yourself along all lines. You should surround yourself with beauty and luxury. Why be satisfied with just enough to go around when you can enjoy the riches of your subconscious mind? Yes, make friends with money, and you will always have a surplus. Your desire to be rich is a desire for a fuller, happier, more wonderful life. It's a cosmic urge. Money is not only good, but very good. It's a symbol and means not only freedom from want, but beauty, luxury, abundance, and refinement. It's a symbol of the economic health of the nation. When your blood is circulating freely in your body, you're healthy. When money is circulating freely in your life, you're economically healthy. Engage your friend, the subconscious mind. It will give you all the wealth you need to do what you want to do when you want to do it. When people begin to hoard money and put it away in tin boxes and become charged with fear, that's economic illness. Now, every night as you go to sleep, practice a very simple technique. Repeat the words, wealth, success, wealth, success. You know there's such a thing as wealth. Go out into the street or into the country. Can you count the stars in the sky or the sands on the seashore? You're born to win and succeed. The infinite can't fail. The infinite is within you. So, wealth, success, use these words quietly, easily, and feelingly over and over again as a lullaby. Yes, you will be amazed at the results. Wealth will flow to you in avalanches of abundance. This is an example of the magic power of your subconscious mind. Affirmation 1. Divine order takes charge of my life today and every day. All things work together toward my reward and benefit. Today is a new and wonderful day for me. I am divinely guided all day long, and whatever I do will prosper. Divine love surrounds me, unfolds me, and unwraps me, and I go forth in peace. Whenever my attention wanders away from that which is good and constructive, I immediately bring it back to the contemplation of that which is lovely and of good report. Affirmation 2. I am transformed. Wealth, success, wealth, success, wealth, success. I like money. I love it. I use it wisely, constructively, and judiciously. Money is constantly circulating in my life. I release it with joy, and it returns to me multiplied in a wonderful way. It is good and very good. Money flows to me in avalanches of abundance. I use it for good only, and I am grateful for my good and for the riches of my mind. I am one with the infinite riches of my subconscious mind. It is my right to be rich, happy, and successful. Money flows to me freely, copiously, and endlessly. I am forever conscious of my true worth. I give of my talents freely, and I am wonderfully blessed financially. It is wonderful. I like money. I use it wisely, constructively, and judiciously. I release it with joy, and it returns 1,000-fold. Affirmation 3. The infinite intelligence which gave me this desire leads, guides, and reveals to be the perfect plan for the unfolding of my desire. I know the deeper wisdom of my subconscious is now responding, and what I feel and claim within is expressed in the without. There is balance, equilibrium, and equanimity. I can do all things through the power of my own subconscious mind. I believe that the subconscious power which gave me this desire is now fulfilling it through me. Joy, happiness, and cheerfulness are now becoming my normal states of mind. Every day, I'm becoming more and more lovable and understanding. I am now becoming the center of cheer and goodwill to all those around me, infecting them with good humor. This happy, joyous, and cheerful mood is now becoming my normal, natural state, and I am infinitely grateful. Affirmation 4. God is absolute peace. God is boundless joy. God is boundless love. God is wholeness, beauty, and perfection. God is the same thing yesterday, today, and forever. I identify and acknowledge the infinite presence and power within me. I claim harmony, peace, beauty, love, joy, right action, and divine law and order. I am divinely guided. I am divinely whole. I am filled with divine beauty. I am filled with divine perfection. No stranger can move me. I overcome all vexations and difficulties. Success is mine. Harmony is mine. Abundance is mine. God pronounced everything good. Whatever I eat or drink is transmuted into beauty, order, symmetry, and proportion. I am harmonized and vitalized. I eat the bread of heaven and I drink the wine of joy. In my body I see order, peace, wholeness, and beauty. It is wonderful. I am divinely guided and live in joyous expectancy of the best, and the best always comes to me. Affirmation 5. I release anybody and everybody who has ever hurt me, and I wish for each and every one health, happiness, peace, and all the blessings of life. I do this freely, joyously, lovingly, and whenever I think of the person or persons who hurt me, I say, I have released you, and all the blessings of life are yours. I am free, and you are free. It is wonderful. So there you have it, your friend, the subconscious mind. one of Dr. Joseph Murphy's most powerful lectures. I hope this timeless wisdom has given you a deeper understanding for the remarkable power of your subconscious mind and inspired you to become more aware of the thoughts, feelings, and beliefs you impress upon it each day. Thank you for tuning in to Wisdom Matrix 1111. Please help support the channel by hitting the subscribe button and liking the video. Keep trusting in the power of your subconscious mind to help you heal, manifest your desires, and welcome blessings and miracles. Peace.